A new hope for Lucasfilm. Star Wars is in the middle of its biggest shakeup in a decade. Leadership changes, new creative voices, long term trilogies, and a surprising amount of clarity about where the franchise is heading next. Kathleen Kennedy is officially leaving her leadership role at Lucasfilm, shifting back to producing while exploring new creative tools, including AI, because of course she is. As she exits, she shares fresh updates on several Star Wars films and addresses the franchise potential of Starfighter. Meanwhile, Dave Filoni and Lynwen Brennan are stepping into top leadership positions, signaling a new creative direction for the studio. The incoming team has also thrown full support behind Simon Kinberg's planned Star Wars trilogy, which is expected to guide the franchise well into the 2030s. So, obviously, this is a big deal,
Yeah,
I would
Huge
say.
deal.
So
Huge
massive.
deal.
yeah, huge. So I have some talking points, the pros and the cons. And I tried to do some from the fans' perspective and then some from the industry's perspective. So I'll break those down. And if you guys want to talk about any of them, just start talking. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. So from the fans' perspective, the pros of this are a Filoni-led era could finally bring consistent lore, tone, and world building across movies and TV shows. Um, Kennedy returning to producing might mean more filmmaker-driven projects with fewer corporate constraints.
Thank God.
A clear support for Kinberg's trilogy gives fans a long-term roadmap instead of constant uncertainty. And then having like fresh updates on multiple films signal that Star Wars movies are finally moving again. So the only thing I found from any of that that she had said significantly about was Starfighter. She talked about the hunt for Kylo Ren, saying it was such a good script, but that's really all I could find about like specific things. So I don't know what multiple films she was.
She also talked about so they're still moving forward with Taika Waititi's movie, but he doesn't have a finished script, and that's why it
Mhm.
got put on the back burner. The concept and the pitch were really good, and she's like, they are 100% backing this film, but they're waiting on him to submit his full script. So I did notice that. As far as
Oh,
Filoni
okay.
leading everything, Filoni is Lucas's literal Padawan, right? Like
Right.
he
Yeah,
is the
absolutely.
chosen one. Like this dude knows
Mhm.
lore better than anybody in Star Wars, and it's
Yeah.
involved in involvement in Star Wars. Like again, we talk about the consistent lore, tone, world building, everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's already proved that he can do that, especially
Mhm.
with the animated shows, which is what kind of got him into the live action stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Filoni is the perfect person to lead creative when it comes to this stuff.
Mhm.
From what I understand, Lynwen
Brennan.
Brennan,
Brennan.
she is like the financial person. She's the person. She's basically
Yeah.
how over at DC,
Yeah.
where James Gunn, Filoni is the equivalent of James Gunn. He is the guy that has all the creative input, and hey, this wouldn't happen in Star Wars, but this would be good. This is good lore, things like that. And Lynwen Brennan is the equivalent to
Peter
Peter
Safran.
Peter
Safran.
Safran, who's like more the financial person. So again, I
Yeah.
have faith in a lot of what they're doing. I don't have problems with Kennedy because the moves that Kathleen Kennedy did make at Lucas were usually good. The ones that everybody gives all of the hate to were other people, not just uh um why am I forgetting his name?
She gets a
CEO.
lot of hate for all the negativity, but everybody forgets all the good stuff that happened.
There's a
You know?
lot of good that happened. Yeah, Bob,
Mhm.
Bob is the reason that like half of the stuff that everybody
Iger.
blames Bob Iger. Bob Iger's half the reason why anything that anybody blames on Kathleen Kennedy about, like, oh, Kathleen Kennedy ruined this. Honestly, go and look up like the majority of what people actually in the industry talk about, And Bob Iger is the reason 90% of that stuff is messed up. If you guys hate the sequel trilogy, Bob Iger is 90% of the reason why the sequel trilogy ended up the way it did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I have to say this. It's tangentially, whatever.
Tangentially.
Really tangentially related. It's really giving the studio vibes to me.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so Kathleen Kennedy is Catherine O'Hara, and Dave Filoni is Seth Rogen, and like I was like, oh shit. And Bob Iger, yeah, yeah, it's there,
Bob Iger's,
Movies,
from forgetting his
movies.
name, but he's the dude that was like, we have to make a Kool-Aid movie. If you're gonna
Yeah,
take
like
this job, you have to
Kool-Aid.
make a Kool-Aid movie.
Yeah, that
That's funny.
was yeah. So it just yeah, studio vibes. The studio vibes. Anyway, uh so you actually, Phil, you kind of talked about some of the industry perspective
Oh, okay.
pros. The restructuring can streamline decision making and reduce the development bottlenecks of the past decade. Filoni and Brennan offer a blend of creative and operational stability that Hollywood insiders have been calling for. A decade spanning trilogy provides predictable scheduling and franchise planning for studios, partners, and merch pipelines. And Kennedy's shift back to producing could strengthen relationships with directors and writers who prefer working directly with her.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the studio vibes. Sorry.
Yeah. And you got to keep in mind, like, she's produced on huge films like Indiana Jones
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And when she got this gig, it was literally right when, like, George is like, hey, I'm going to hire you. You're hired. Your job. Awesome. That's great. By the way, I'm also selling the company to Disney. Good luck with all that. And she's the one that had to go through all this and how Lucasfilm was going to move forward in this new Disney era.
Yeah.
And it was all her.
Yep.
So
Yep.
she gets a lot of hate. I don't hate on Kathleen Kennedy like
At all.
a lot of fans do.
All right. So the cons now, I mean, we talked about the pros. Let's talk about the cons. So from the fans' perspective, Filoni's strengths are in animation and TV. Some worry the cinematic side may not translate as smoothly. Announcing updates during a leadership transition feels risky. Fans fear another round of shifting priorities. Committing to a trilogy now could lock the franchise into a direction before audiences weigh in. And the Starfighter ambiguity may signal hesitation rather than confidence. That's from the fans' perspective.
What do you think about all
Anything?
that, Frey? What do you think about the con portion of it?
Um, Look, you don't know if a director or creator is going to be good in a different medium until they are in a different medium.
Mhm.
So, I think like the Russo brothers started with Community. That was a TV show, a comedy TV show, and now they're helming the MCU.
And they're
Good
coming
point.
back to the MCU, like to the point where
Yeah,
nobody's been able to replicate the lightning in the bottle that they've created, so they're coming back. I
right.
Here's my thing with
That's
Filoni.
that's the only thing I was thinking is that
Yeah.
okay,
and
great.
and this will be
Spike
short, like,
Jones did a lot
yeah,
of shit.
this will be short. My thing with Filoni is, if you are afraid that he may not have an eye for cinema, then you have not been not paying attention to anything, because shows each episode is cinematic. Condensing story is all really what he's gonna do, and he seems like the kind of person where he starts from point A to point B and is like, this needs to be this long. So how do I get from point A to point B and get this all done? The guy knows how to do episodic TV. He has done animated films. So what is there to say that he can't do in a feature film if he has the eye for a cinematic film in the TV shows that he's done, and he has written movies that have done well? I don't have a problem with him doing a film and helming a film franchise.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget, he has Jon Favreau to
Right.
support him as well,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And it's not like he's only done Star Wars. He was the director for the first season of Avatar: The Last
Avatar:
Airbender.
The Last Airbender, and
So
that's actually what I was thinking in my head was like he helmed Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's going to be in a good direction, and I like that they have him to only focus on creative.
Yeah,
And
no, I think the partnership thing is really in now.
mhm.
That instead of having one person over all of it, get two people, and then that way one can cover the financials and all that, the other can cover the creatives. And so, yeah, I really like that. I think it's a good thing. Um, So, from the industry's perspective, though, like major leadership changes can disrupt ongoing projects, create uncertainty. We were talking about Zaslav selling Warner Brothers and how like that could have affected uh, the Brave and the Bold. So, like it's uncertainty and people don't want to move forward with things if there's uncertainty. Early commitments to long term slates limit flexibility if market trends shift or box office performance dips. AI driven creative tools raise questions about labor, authorships, and future production pipelines. And Kennedy's exit could lead to a reevaluation of projects she championed, causing potential delays.
Again, I don't think that's going to happen just because Filoni's also been involved with the majority of those projects. Filoni has been the like creative force behind Star Wars for a long time at this point. Kathleen Kennedy's just been kind of like on the back end producing, and she gets the final say. I
Yeah.
think nothing is really going to change because the majority of the projects that are in the pipeline right now, Filoni has his hands in to begin with. So
That's true.
when you take the guy who's already doing creative and you put him in charge, I don't see him going, okay, well, yeah, I was doing this just because Kathleen Kennedy, and I'm just going to get rid of all your projects. I don't think I don't think Filoni doesn't seem like that kind of person, but two, he also seems like somebody who has been excited and been involved with every one of these projects from the ground up. So I don't see any of that
Yeah.
kind of being a concern. You know what I mean?
Okay.
My concern is that Filoni's only focused on Star Wars, right? Which is great. But now being ahead of Lucasfilm and what other projects may take some of his time, now I'm concerned like maybe he strays away from Star Wars because he has more going on and then we start to lose focus. But I don't think they're going to let that happen. I think they're going to make sure that
No.
whatever projects they've announced, they're going to be like, we need to push through with this slate of projects. And we
Mhm.
can't let anybody down. We can't let the fans down. We can't go back on our word is this is what we said we're going to do. We're going to do it.
Yeah, Filoni's
Yeah.
baby is Star Wars first and foremost. The guy is always going to focus on
Mhm.
Star Wars. I am interested in him just being someone who kind of thinks the same way that Lucas thinks. I am actually genuinely curious to see what he would do with Indiana Jones.
That's a good point.
That'd be really cool. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm. Mhm.
He's really
Yeah.
good at expanding universes.
We're very
So
good,
Mhm.
and I'm sure.
that would be interesting.
I mean, he dresses like Indiana Jones. Why would he not be an Indiana Jones fan, right? Like, I mean, I'm
What's
sure
Trapper Wolf?
Trapper
Trapper Wolf.
Wolf.
That's right.
Yeah,
I don't.
Trapper Wolf. Get some Trapper Wolf stuff out there.
I do want to see Trapper Wolf, like the character that he plays. I want to see more Trapper Wolf in the universe. But I mean,
Mhm.
like, um, seeing what he does with Indiana Jones, because it's kind of like, okay, here is the care that I took for Star Wars. I want to take that same care and put it to Indiana Jones. We
Right.
know that Indiana Jones can expand into more things because the game is fucking perfect. I'm sorry. Great Circle was a perfect game.
Mhm.
And I know that we can do more Indiana Jones, right? The thing is, do we do young Indiana Jones? Do we do Indiana Jones? We know he has offspring at this point, right? We don't 100% know what happened with with mud, but at the same time, yeah, I mean, they talked about it in the last movie, but it's kind of like, can you fix that relationship? Can you fix that character and lead up to, obviously we know he dies at some point. If you haven't watched those movies, guys, that they've been out for like 3 years. So I mean, but I mean,
I
like,
haven't watched them. Thanks so much.
okay, well, that's your fault for not watching a movie that's been out for 3 years. So spoilers for a movie that's been out for 3 years. Uh, but I mean, like, that's the whole thing with that is does he go and fix that mud character that everybody hated so much, Indiana's son?
Mhm.
Do you start leading into his goddaughter, who was kind of a co-lead in the latest movie? Like, do you
Mhm.
do the legacy of Indiana Jones, or do you recast for a younger Indiana Jones and tell more stories? Because they made it a non-linear film franchise, which that is an advantage to Indiana
Mm-hmm.
Jones. You know, who do you get to play Indiana Jones? You know,
Yeah, yeah.
and,
That's
uh, yeah, like
Ryan
it's
Gosling.
I was thinking the exact same thing. It's perfect. Perfect.
Ryan Gosling as young Indiana Jones. I'm sure he would love to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
he would be so good.
Yeah,
He has that
totally
kind
agree.
of comedic timing that Harrison Ford does as well. And they've done stuff together, and if you have never seen their interviews that they've done together, you have to watch the interviews that they've
Yeah, I've
done
seen them.
together. They
They're
are
hilarious.
freaking hilarious.
Oh,
The
I'd like
Blade
to
Graham
Runner,
see
Norton
right?
one.
They did
Blade
Blade
Runner.
Runner together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd
Okay.
want to see Ryan Gosling in the suit that Dr. Jones wears in like when he's teaching, like the tweed suit that he wears when he's teaching, and just kind of
Yeah,
see what
yeah.
that look would look like, just that kind of like that old 1940s look. I want to see more Nazi stories. We know that he interacts with the Russians, because again, Crystal Skull leans more into him fighting the Russians. So I mean, there are so many eras and so many stories that you can tell with Indiana Jones if you cast the right actor to continue on with.
Yeah, I think it would be great.
There's also a lot of books that are good, and again, the game really leans into it. I'm done. I talk too much.
Okay,
Yep.
so I do have a question now that we've gone through all of it. So is this the moment Star Wars finally finds long-term stability? Or is Lucasfilm entering another cycle of big promises and unpredictable pivots?
Young Phil, keep talking.
If
Oh
anything, I
goodness.
feel like this is the moment for them to find stability, and I've been kind of this goes with the theme that I've been saying the entire night, right? Between the two people that they've chosen, Lynwen Brennan and Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni is that person that is going to uphold the legacy of Star Wars, because this is a man who lives, breathes, dies Star Wars. And Lynwen Brennan is somebody who is has proven to be good on the finances. Again, I was very unfamiliar with her until I started doing research when they announced that she was she was going to be the co-head. And I think it was a good decision. I think it's a smart decision. Again, somebody who like Dave Filoni, who takes so much care into storytelling, not just Star Wars, but everything that he's ever put his hands into. Um,
Mhm.
I'm interested in seeing him helm everything in the Lucas library and expanding
Sphere.
on everything in the sphere, right? Expanding on everything that Lucas owns, because
Mhm.
Star Wars, again, I think he's the right person to steer that ship. I would also like to see what he does with Indiana Jones. I would also like to see what he does with every other Lucas property,
Mm-hmm.
because
You can't think of another one, can you?
at the moment I can't, and I know there's multiple ones.
What about
Well,
Howard the Duck? He did Howard the Duck. No,
Uh,
but that wasn't it.
I would
I
rather
think
I
that
would
was yeah.
yeah. Well, Spielberg did Howard the Duck more than Lucas did, but Lucas had his hands in it, and I would prefer Marvel
I
handle that
thought
because they've
Lucas
already.
directed it.
I thought Spielberg directed that.
I thought it was George Lucas.
how about you guys look it up? So I kind of agree with what you're saying about about Filoni and Brennan. I feel like the Star Wars side of Lucasfilm is in good hands. I think they're good. I think where Kathleen Kennedy is leaving things and going back to the producer role that she had, I think that may be something that's a strength of hers that she hasn't been able to flex in a long time, because she's brought bangers to box offices for decades, going back to like the 80s. And I'm just looking at the list, and I'm just Poltergeist, E.T., Twilight Zone. We talked about Indiana Jones already, but Empire of the Sun, Roger Rabbit, Land Before Time, Back to the Future, Always, Cape Fear, Arachnophobia, Gremlins. All these are executive produced by her. And having somebody like that in Hollywood getting back into like, hey, let's make some projects. I'm excited to see what else she can come up with. Now, whether it's AI or not AI, that's a whole separate, question. But like, I think she has an eye for projects and films, and I think her getting back to that will be super interesting.
Yeah, we were both wrong. It was
Yep.
William Hayek, and
Right.
he also wrote it. So
William.
don't let
Yep.
the
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Sorry, but George Lucas did
He produced.
produce it.
Yeah, Spielberg had nothing to do with it. But yeah, Lucas produced.
So I was more right than
We were both
wrong.
wrong. We were both wrong.
We were both wrong, but Phil was more wrong.
Sure. Okay. Continue.
I also had some really good points.
I was trying to go back to you.
You
James.
did.
Just letting you know.
You did. No, I thought you were very persuasive.
I was actually trying to type it into our
Dumbass.
group chat, and Jen decided to put it on the show. So okay.
There you go.
Well, he
All right.
said, "Look it up."
Any
Give
other
the fans
thoughts?
what they want.
Any other thoughts
No.
on the transition between Kathleen Kennedy leaving and Filoni and Brennan coming in?
I think that we all knew that this was going to happen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They had been talking about it for 2 years. I think Dave Filoni is good as a creative on the creative side, and Lynwen Brennan, from what I understand, is very good on the financial side. She understands all of that. So I think as long as they have a good relationship together, I don't see it being a problem.
Agreed.
Yeah. Good point.
Did I say everything you guys said in less words?
Yes.
A lot less words.
Yeah.